Alright, y'all, it's your boy Kevin Compton here with another video. Quick and dirty, day one blooding guide. There'll be no edits on this one. I just want to whip something up for all of you guys who just recently got a bunch of new champions and are looking to blood them in your first tournament as a battle master owning a champion. So, first thing you're going to want to do is to name your champion by clicking on the champion here in your barracks, clicking this pencil icon here, and then typing in a name, something appropriate, obviously. And you're going to want to name your champion because you're actually unable to enter any tournaments, unless you actually name your champions. So you go ahead and name your champion. And then once you've named your champion, in order to blood your champion, you need to enter it into a heroic free tournament. So $0 tournament, click on that and it's named, and then you enter a tournament. As you should already know, if you watched the day one fighting guide or got a chance to fight with some rental champs already, that your champion fights in one of 4 stances for each tournament. One of them is a secret stance that is preferred, that significantly improves its chances of winning a fight. You can go ahead and select Discovery Stance here at the barracks profile, and that'll actually rotate through all 4 stances for you so that you don't have to change the stance manually each time you enter a fight. I personally recommend using the Discovery Stance and doing a minimum of 25 tournaments in each stance. I'll explain why in a minute. There's also a group of people who like to kind of just pick, do Discovery Stance until they win one and then just focus on that stance only, kind of like the sniper method versus shotgun method. That's totally fine, either one. But one recommend, I guess, kind of wise tale, I guess I want to make known to you. There's this champion, Foe Freezer, owned by Tech D of Blood Demons, and a good friend of mine, and actually was bought by another good friend of mine, Chris Santis of Shroot Farms out of Greece, who actually owned Foe Freezer. And about 6 months ago, I believe in January, Foe Freezer was a very average champ. In the mid 1000s, that was fighting mostly in defensive and aggressive stance. I believe in the first 8 fights that Foe Freezer had fought, she had not won a tournament. Yeah, imbalanced, right? So, first 5, first 3, and then he stopped. You see this gap here between December 5th and January 25th? He stopped experimenting with her stances and committed to defensive. And you see here in defensive, she wasn't a terrible champion, above mid battle win rate, decent tourney win rate, Mina damage is decent. But when he's fought, and she's kind of on a downturn right now currently, she's much better than this in terms of elo. But when you look at her SPI, we'll talk about that in a second, her ranking, she's actually a top 100 champion. And she was nowhere near that when she was fighting in these stances. As you see here, this power index, if you look at this as kind of like grades, this is like a C+ versus an A-, right? And he was fighting her in these 2 stances for thousands of battles. And all because she lost her first 8 tournaments. And so the benefit of doing Discovery Stance and doing 25 tournaments in each stance roughly is it allows you to unlock what's called your Seer Power Index, the SPI, and your CSRs, which are Champion Scouting Reports. So SPIs are essentially like your grade for your champion in the 4 different stances. And again, I like to use it like your grading scale: low 90s A-, mid 90s A, high 90s A+, and then same for B, C, D, so on and so forth, or whatever grade this is. I guess F minus. There's a lot of minuses. So you unlock these by completing 50 battles, and battles are the equivalent of rounds in a tournament. So when you enter a tournament, there are 3 different rounds, or potentially up to 3 battles if you make it to the final round. And so each time you fight a tournament and you rack up battles, you need 50 battles in a stance in order to unlock it. So you see here Smithers Fling, this amazing champ here, has all of these unlocked, but defense is not locked because he has over 50 here in defensive, but doesn't have 50 battles here in the other stances. If you have an average champ, or let me better say a champ that's having like an average run, it'll typically take you about 25 tournaments. If you have a really good champ, maybe 20. A lesser a champ that's not so great, maybe 30, but roughly 20 to 30 tournaments in each stance. And again, you can always check the battles here specifically that your champion has fought and their progress unlocking SPIs here on the TRV Tools page. And the way you can find your champion's TRV Tools page is going to trvtools.com. This is a site hosted by skewer.eth, a veteran battle master, one of our OGs, and data extraordinaire. You're just going to go here to this homepage and then enter your champ's ID. You can find that ID by clicking on your champion in the barracks page and then taking the number here at the end of the URL and pasting it into here, hitting this microscope, and then that'll bring you to this page here where you have the SPIs and the scouting reports and all the information on your champion's summoning, rentals, progress in any tournaments that are going on, so on and so forth. In terms of scouting report, you're going to click this tab here, and here you're going to see a graphic representation of how your champion does, I believe in terms of percentiles, versus the other champions in its class. So this shows how accurate Hound of Hastings is against all other druids in the game in accurate stance. So what we want to do is you want to look at your champion's highest SPI stance, which is most likely its preferred stance, and then so this one will be accurate. And then we'll go to accurate, and then that'll allow us to kind of like glean where the strengths and weaknesses are for this druid relative to other champions. And so we see here that this is an 80 percentile in defense, which is good. So he's more so a defensive druid than a strength druid, because this here appears to be below 80 and seems to be a very accurate champion, almost over 90 percentile in accuracy, which is pretty sick. So typically what you do is you use this information to influence your summoning. You use your wisdom and you use your scouting report in order to try to summon together complementary champions, either currently in your barracks or by mixing and matching champions in your barracks with ones that are in the spell book, which is where other battle masters list their champions, and you can list yours as well for other battle masters to buy their blooded and do summonings to create champions that are potentially greater than his parents as our breeding mechanic. So we talked about SPIs, we talked about CSRs. Let's talk about wisdom. So every time you complete a free tournament, you get 1 point of wisdom. Every time you complete a paid tournament, you get 4 points of wisdom. And you use wisdom to reveal ranges of your champion. So you see here you have an unblooded champion. You're here at 1 to 100 in each of these. If I want to keep this champion unblooded, but if I were to enter into that heroic free right now, I would get 1 point of wisdom. Once I get 5 points of wisdom, you'll see a red lock button here at all 4 of these skill traits. Again, if you watch the Day One Fighting Guide, attack is a damage variation. Omega is a kind of like an X factor stat. The higher the better. Defense is damage mitigation. How tanky is your champion? Strength is your damage output. How strong is your champion? How hard it hits. You'll see a red unlock key here, and then you'll just click on it, and then you'll have the opportunity to reveal the range of your champion. As a matter of fact, I know I want to keep this video short, but let me see if I can find a champion. Let me see if I can find a champion really quick who has a wisdom reveal. Let's see if I can do this quickly. Do I have any mortals? Mortals. Jaffa, probably not. Probably not. Let's see. Leah. Let's see. Do we have it? We do. Okay, perfect. So all you would do is click here, reveal more. Now, please know that this is unreversible. So once you click show me, everybody will be able to see your range. And so it'll shrink down. You know, it starts from 1 to 100. You remove 5. So basically, once you are at level 1, you remove 5 points. 5 points each unlock, and it'll go down. So what you'll see here, we're at 1883. So that means that, oh man, now I haven't done a review, I think, since 1500. So it's been a while. So when I click this button here, 5 points are going to be removed from either the bottom, the top, or both. Generally, you want points to be removed from the bottom because that means that your range is going to be higher. So if I click here, show me. All right, so it looks like was it 3 off the top and 2 off the bottom. And then let's see here. Generally speaking, and we'll talk about this more in the summoning guide next week, you want to have a 2-to-1 ratio in all of these stats. Omega usually being the most important, and then at least one other. So you want like 40 to 80. It'll be a while before you guys get up to that point, but like you want to see like 20, 90. You want to see like 10, 95. You want to see twice as many numbers from 0 to 10 as you see between this number and 100. So, well, here, let's see how much come off. 30 to 79. Okay, 2 off the top and 3 off the bottom. That's not great for Omega. Generally, you want to see Omega at that 2-to-1 range. Let's see about strength. So see here, the strength here is pretty good. There's 13 at the top here and 37 at the bottom. So that's almost a 3-to-1 ratio, which is pretty good. Let's see how we do. Moment of truth. Oh, only 1 off the top. Only 1 off the top. Open the shop. Let's go. 42 to 86. That's a great reveal. So you get to do one of these every single level. So 5 points, 10. This is a great reason for you to go ahead and do paid tournaments. Also, anytime you see in a tournament this symbol here, it's bonus wisdom. So you get bonus wisdom for doing the SNGs. So you see here you get an extra 12 wisdom for doing the SNGs. So no matter what battle class your champion is in, do your SNGs. Battle classes, so you have ELO, which you get for participating in free tournaments and paid tournaments. You only have ELO freeze in currently in Outlaw, Heroic, and Legendary. And so basically you want to enter these 3 types of tournaments in order to gain ELO or lose ELO if you have a bad champ, because we're going to have awesome verticals for champs with a really low ELO as well coming up. And so, yeah, you want to earn wisdom. If you can, get into these bonus wisdom tournaments. 16, that's a lot. Oh, man. Nice. And so you get bonus wisdom. We're doing paids, jumping into these tournaments with the brain symbol, and then you rack up your wisdom, and then you get to reveal. Okay, this is one of my best defensive range champions, one of the best defensive range champions in the game. 48 to 97 defense range. Oh wait, I'm sorry, this is unorganized. I'm just filming this really quickly for you new folks. We'll do another one of these that's a bit more scripted and edited. I talked about ELO. What if I just do this for like 10 minutes? I just keep going and talk about things. So we talked about ELO. So you gain, that's like our kind of like matchmaking, not matchmaking system, but it's, I don't know what you would call it, but basically it's how we kind of measure a champion's skill, kind of like where it stands in the pecking order amongst, of course, also with the SPI. So basically we have 4 different what we call battle classes. So you have Outlaw, which is the lowest class, ELO 1 to 1447. Heroic, which is 1448 to 1803. That's where every champion starts. And then Legendary, every champion starts at 800 ELO, by the way. Legendary, 1804 to 1910, and then Immortal, 1911 to 2499. Generally, this Immortal, these ranges will change at every month or so, so that 10% of the entire champ population is in Immortal. So that's the way it works, and then everything else, all the other numbers kind of adjust based on that principle. And so your goal is to essentially enter these fights so that you can gain ELO, then get into Immortal, and then enter paid fights to continue climbing ELO, because these freeze and Immortal are ELO exempt. And there are going to be some awesome incentives for having high ELO in future tournaments and verticals and conditional tournaments. Okay, so what were we doing? Oh, yes, the reveal. I feel like this is going to be heartbreak. We're just going to rip the Band-Aid off. Okay. 4-1, 4-1. I'll take it. Man, if this Omega was just a little bit better. So, and we'll talk about this. Maybe Aaliyah will be a good example. Maybe we'll test her out with the High Omega Ranger in the next summoning cycle. And I'll report back. But you see here, she has a nice 2-to-1 ratio here. Was that 41 points under the bottom versus 14 over the top? So what's that? That's almost exactly a 3-to-1 ratio, and just an insane, better than 10-to-1 ratio here in defense. One of the best defense ranges, and so all she really needs is that Omega to be higher, and she would be. She is an immortal champ if you see here, but she would definitely be worlds better. So the trick is for summoning is most likely to summon Aaliyah Yo with a high Omega champion, like for example a Sylvan Gouda. Let me see. I think she's in here. Sylvan. Maybe Sylvan. Sylvan Gouda, this is also one of mine. And if I remember correctly, yeah. So you see here, really low strength ratio, not good. Really low defense, not good. But look at this Omega. So maybe we try to summon, Sylvan Gouda with the Leo Yo to add this Omega to her strength and defense. So that's a bit about how summoning works. We'll talk about that more in an upcoming video. So yeah, we talked about summoning, we talked about wisdom, entering SNGs to get bonus wisdom, and yeah, that's pretty much it. You run your champions as best you can, get to know them, especially if you just received your new champions. Generally, we like to do a nice new player tournament for a week or so before we launch off a big one. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Be sure to link sorry. Tag me in the Discord if you have any questions. Let us know in Gen Chat, and we will help you out as best we can. Good luck to everybody who, and congratulations to everybody who won your champions. This video is way too long, so I was trying to make this like a good blooding guide for YouTube, but I'm gonna have to redo this again. So this will just be specifically for you new blood folks. I just want to say it's so great having you guys here. I'm super excited to have you guys participating in the next championship. Love seeing you guys entering paids and talking about champions and talking about enjoying the fights and hopping in the streams, and it's just really nice to have you here. And I think if you guys stick with the game and learn it, you guys are still super early and will have a great opportunity to build up a nice barracks and compete with those of us who have been here for a long time and help grow the game and make it better. So thank you guys so much for your interest in TRV. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. And until next time, I'll see you in the Blood Theater.